Brett Dawson from Sellout Crowd with you at the Paycom Center. Pretty quiet Paycom Center after a pretty easy Thunder win, 134-120 over the Utah Jazz. Not a lot of drama, not a lot of excitement. The Thunder gave up 45 points in the fourth quarter to make the game a lot closer than it was, led by as many as 38 in the third. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, just kind of a typical brilliant game for him. He had 30 points in 3 quarters, 7 assists, just, a guy who's playing at a super high level and seems to be able to get numbers like that in his sleep and did it tonight. Not a lot of big storylines. Chet Holmgren made a couple of threes. He had been struggling from the three-point lines, first multiple three-point make game in the month of December after a 4-game kind of shooting slump. Got that righted just a little bit. Ousmane Dieng, who'd been playing quite a bit for the OKC Blue and moving back and forth a little bit between the NBA and the G League, came out and had 18 points. A lot of that earlier in the game. He got quite a bit of run early and was really effective playing off Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Made some shots in the corner, but not just spot-up shots. Did some driving, made some nice passes. He was pretty effective. Cason Wallace got a start and was pretty good. One of the interesting things about Cason Wallace is that the Thunder's been able to use him as a spot starter almost anytime anybody gets hurt. He just plugs right in and kind of fits in any of those different starting positions. Maybe if Chet Holmgren misses a game, you might not go that way, but he started for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's started now for Lou Dort. Just is able to kind of plug and play, in part because of all the guys he can guard. The defensive versatility that he brings showed that again. Josh Giddey, pretty good. Wasn't great despite the fact that he kind of flirted with a triple-double, only 2 assists shy. Made a couple of shots, still not super effective around the rim, but I thought he was pretty good defensively. They tried a couple of different things with him. We've talked a lot about the way teams are guarding and playing off. So, the Thunder tried him in the dunker spot on the baseline a little bit, put him in the deep corner. So he, got a couple of 3-point shooting opportunities. Still struggling a little bit around the rim, still struggling just kind of in general to find his game. But tonight was a step in the right direction. And this, by the way, not a good Utah team. This isn't a good team, and it was without a couple of its best players. Its best player, Lauri Markkanen, didn't play. Its only real rim protector, Walker Kessler, didn't play. So this is a shorthanded team that already wasn't very good. But I think a notable thing, and a thing I'll be writing about for Sellout Crowd that you'll be able to read Tuesday morning, the Thunder now 10-1 against teams with sub-500 records. And that tells you 2 things. One, half the games they've played have been against these teams with sub-500 records, which means there is tougher competition still to come. We'll see that this week. OKC goes on the road to Sacramento and Denver. So the competition will be stiff more often than it's been to this point. But also the Thunder's been very good at taking care of business. And we've seen some teams here in Oklahoma City that haven't been as good at that. I think about the 2 years that Paul George was here, when those teams would kind of play up and be great against some of the best teams in the league, and then you'd kind of see them lay an egg and be really flat against one of these lesser teams. One of the things this group has talked about is not that it's, Chet Holmgren talked about this tonight, it's not about taking these teams like the Jazz seriously. It's more about trying to have the same approach all the time, no matter the opponent. And that's easy to talk about doing. It's hard to get to that point, but this team really has done it. Will Hardy, the Jazz coach, talked before the game about, everybody talks about this Thunder team and how young it is, and it should. It's the second youngest team in the league. That's what people should talk about with this group. But what he said is they have a very mature approach, and they just play hard every night, and that was, again, on display tonight. Not so much with the guys in the fourth quarter who kind of let Keontae George and the Jazz have a huge quarter and cut into that lead. If you had Thunder minus 14 and you were gambling, I feel sorry for you. But it was otherwise, a very mature approach to the game, a good job of taking this team seriously, and that's been very characteristic of this Thunder group. Again, a couple of nights off now, and then the Thunder hits the road for a couple of games in Sacramento and in Denver, so we're going to have a whole lot of coverage. And of course, tomorrow, Tuesday night, December 12th, we'll have coverage of the vote in Oklahoma City on the arena financing plan. That will say a lot about the future of the Thunder in Oklahoma City, whether it's secure or not secure. We'll have coverage of that, plenty of coverage of this game, so much more here on my YouTube page and at selloutcrowd.com, so check it out.